Todah, and thank you. Todah is thank you. So we just want to thank everybody for joining Restoring the Branches Ministry on this beautiful Shabbat day. May Yah bless you, your family, your possessions, your territory. As always, a special greeting to the 12 tribes of Israel that are scattered abroad, as it is written, to the Yahudim first, then to the Gentiles. By the grace of God, through Yahshua HaMashiach, He's made a way for us. He's made a way for us to get back to Him. All of humanity has fallen short because of sin. We've all fallen short because of sin. But it's the power of the gospel that can pull any man out of any prison. It can pull man or any woman from any depravity of the mind, from depression, from lust, from whatever it is. The power of the gospel can pull us out. And we just want to say thank you and for the power of the word, the power of the gospel. And if anyone has the heart to walk on the straight path, right, on the straight narrow path to the gate that is called straight, we just want to say thank you and join us and fellowship with us. And we're going to get into this word today. Today our title is Of a Truth Part 1. Of a Truth Part 1, what is truth? Okay, of a Truth Part 1, what is truth? And we can turn to Daniel, second chapter. Daniel or Daniel, second chapter. Being 2 and 47, just hallelujah whenever you get there.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. 2 and 47. Book of Daniel. Daniel 2 and 47, and it reads, The king answered unto Daniel and said, Of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. We have a pagan king, a wicked king, and he has an understanding that the Most High Yah himself, that what he said? He said, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings. So we want to look at of a truth today, of a truth. First thing we got to understand is what is truth. Okay, we want to look at the Hebraic understanding of truth. All right, the Hebraic understanding of truth, and truth is emet. Okay, emet. So some of these words look familiar from our Hebrew studies. Okay, that first letter aleph, that second letter mem. Mem was last week. Okay, but emet, and truth is stability, a certainty, a firmness, the opposite of a lie. Okay, so we know that part, right? I mean, we get the opposite of a lie, but stability and certainty, firmness. Okay, the opposite of a lie, which is not a fact. Okay, it's emet. That is truth. That is truth. Brother, can you get us Yochanan or John 14 and 6? Look at the truth. Go ahead, brother.
John 14 and 6. Yeshua said to him, I am the way and the truth.
The truth
and the life.
And the life.
No one comes to the Father except through me.
But by him. And he calls himself the emet. He calls himself the stability, the certainty, and the firmness. I am the opposite of a lie. I'm the opposite of a lie. I am the truth. What is truth? Okay, we've got some definitions here of truth. We had John 14 and 6, or Yochanan. Defining truth, that which is true or in accordance to reality. Okay, these are just different definitions here. Real facts about something, the things that are true, the quality or state of being true. And this last one is something we've all dealt with in some kind of way, right? A statement or idea that is accepted as true. So, in other words, you can make your truth the truth. You can make your truth the truth, but it might not be true. You can make your truth the truth, and it might not be truth. Okay, we're gonna look at an example here. One example of this, of making my truth the only truth. I'll read this here. The legalistic tendency inaugurated by Ezra had now assumed dimensions far beyond anything contemplated by its originator, right? So, Ezra and Nehemiah and those that came out of Babylon when they were reestablishing the temple, reestablishing the order, right? One of the big things, we got to get rid of these foreign women, right? There are certain things we got to make. We cannot get a place back or have God's face turned against us again. So there's got to be some firmness, some stability. There's got to be some truth around here. Okay, we can't be mingling. And so the legalistic tendency inaugurated by Ezra had now assumed dimension. So from what Ezra and Nehemiah and those that first came out of Babylon started, we're seeing that what they started, it went far and beyond anything contemplated by them. No longer did it suffice to insist upon obedience to the commandments of the scripture Torah. No longer did it suffice to insist upon the obedience to the commandments of the scripture Torah. These divine precepts were broken down into an innumerable series of minute and vexatious particulars, the observance of which was enforced as a sacred duty. So itty bitty little things became big things. Even made a condition of salvation. And this exaggerated legalism had obtained such an absolute ascendancy over the minds of the people that all other tendencies were put entirely in the background. This is from the History of Jewish People in the Time of Jesus Christ, Volume 1. That's on page 2. Let you know right off top. Okay, so the different, minute, small regulations that surrounded the commandments, this became holy. This became, so once again, what I deem is true might not be the truth. But I can take something and make this as, this is the truth, this is the way, this is truth. So so now when we look at that, we can see why Messiah had an issue with the teachers of the law. Because when he says, hey, you have made my Father's commandments of nothing. You've minimized it. Okay? We have, for example, Matthew 15:2-3. Why do the disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? Right? So what they deemed as right or truth, they put that above the truth. Okay. We have that same chapter in verse 9. But in vain they do worship me. Right? Because they're saying this is the sacred duty of God. Right? But teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Right? So we have all these different kind of washings. That's an example in Matthew about washing. Different things to do when you enter into the temple and into the synagogue. And these things are not found in the Torah, but they've been put over the Torah. Right? And we have that in different religions today, different churches and congregations today. Do this, do that. And that's been made more of an emphasis. That's an example of my truth is the only truth. We're going to look at something else that's more of just natural, not biblical, but it kind of is biblical. I'm going to read something to you. It's about Dr. Freeman. As an African American, you may have been so brainwashed by white-controlled educational systems in this country that it is difficult for you to accept the truth. Okay? Once again, my truth is the only truth. This is Return to Glory, The Powerful Stirring of a Black Race by Dr. Joel A. Freeman. That's Dr. Freeman at the White House giving a conference on Black history. And Dr. Freeman wrote a good book, Return to Glory, and he talks about Black history in general, but he also talks about blacks in their Israelite heritage, blacks that came over on the slave ship. So it's a really, really good book, really, really good work. But once again, as he says, that it is difficult for you to accept the truth, right? Because things that have been taught or said or put over something else, right? My truth is the only truth. So we looked at a biblical one, and we just looked one in just regular society. But Yahshua, what did he say? Our Savior says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The truth shall set you free. Okay? Truth leads to overcoming. In fact, we want to be overcomers. Truth leads to overcoming. Okay? And we got to have an understanding. Okay? In order to have understanding. In Proverbs 4 and 5, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Understanding is Proverbs, or the Mashali, 4 and 5. So in order to have an understanding, I got to have an inner standing. Okay? In order to understand, there's got to be an inner standing. Okay? This is Eov or Job 32 and 8. But in truth, it is a spirit in man. And it is the soul from Almighty that gives them understanding. That's out of the Tanakh. Okay? Stone and Tanakh. But in truth, it is a spirit in man. And it is the soul from Almighty that gives them the understanding. So in order to understand, I got to have an inner standing so I can understand. Okay? Once we have an inner standing, now we can overstand. Because we all got to overstand. Because we all got to overcome. Okay? We are overstanding our circumstances, situations, dilemmas, daily life, whatever it may be, but we got to overstand. Okay? He that overcometh shall inherit all things. Okay? He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, he shall be my son. It's in Revelations, or the Kazun, 21 and 7. Okay, so in order to understand, I got to have an understanding. Once I have a true understanding, now I can overstand. We got to be able to overstand. There's a lot of things going on in this earth, a lot of things going on in our surroundings, and we have to overstand, right? Because we got to be able to overcome, right? And that it is not some kind of little catchy phrase, but as we have it at the end of the book in Revelation, he that overcometh. Okay, we got to be able to overcome. Okay, when I overstand, all right, I am compliant with the truth, right? Because I know, right, or I yada. Okay, I yada. So to know, which is yada, when we overstand, we have became compliant, submitted, and comfortable with the truth. Okay? Comfortable with the truth. Truth is something you just don't fight. Right? When you know something is true, when you know it, you're not going to fight it. Right? I mean, there's a submission to it. Real simple. Shabbat day. It's real simple. I'm going to keep Shabbat. I'm going to embrace Shabbat, and I'm going to be wherever Shabbat service is held. Right? So I don't fight it. I don't let it fight me. Right? I don't fight it. I don't let it fight me. Okay? But being in the truth is one thing. Right? To be in the truth. You hear that phrase. But to be in it. But we must yada to know the source from where it originates. This supersedes our halfway participation in the truth. I'll say it again. Being in the truth is one thing, but to yada, to know the source from where the truth originates, it supersedes our halfway participation in the truth. There's going to come a time where the forces of darkness are going to want you to choose. But if you don't know, if you're just kind of halfway in it, if you don't really know, then you're going to make the wrong choice. Right? Push come to shove. Your life is on the line. You're going to choose your life. You're going to choose your life. Okay? True submission is my laziness against my own will. True submission is I'm being lazy against my own will. My own flesh, my own desires. I'm going to be lazy towards that. Right? Be still and know Right? Be still and know we got to stop fighting against God's will. Have to stop fighting. Right? So when it comes to our flesh, when it comes to our will, things we want to do, we got to get lazy.
Amen.
We got to get lazy on that. Okay? The source of the matter. The source. Okay? Aman. Okay? Truth derives from the source. Okay? So earlier, the brother read in John 14:6. You got that again, brother?
Yes, sir.
Read it again one more time.
Yeshua said to him,
Uh-huh.
I am
The way,
and the truth,
the truth,
and the life.
and the life.
No one comes to the Father
Uh-huh.
except through me.
Now he said, I am the truth. I am the truth. And the truth comes from the source. So in order to understand the truth, we got to know the source. Because it won't be true to you. A lot of people claim Jesus Christ, but they don't know the source. They don't know that he's the Word made flesh. Well, what Word was made flesh? Your Torah, probably. That's when he spoke the most. Moses, yes, sir. Tell Aaron this. Moses, yes, sir. Tell the children of Israel at the door of the congregation this. The babies get it. An example. A baby comes from the sperm of the father and the womb of a mother. Okay? So we know that a child comes from, there's a source from where the child comes from. Right? Sperm, womb. Sperm, egg, sitting in the womb. Okay? We are born, or there's a birth process. We live, there's a life process, and then there is death, or we die. Right? So we understand that we go through these steps, and we know that man was created from dirt or from the dust of the earth, and then a lot of times in decomposition of a body, it turns right back to dust. Okay? It turns right back to dust. Okay? Another example. Photosynthesis is a process in which plants use energy from the light of the sun to make its own food. Okay, so plants make their food from this light, from this energy from the sun. So the source is the sun. Okay, the light emitting from the sun, the rays, the energy that feeds the plant. Okay, this is truth. The plant can't get no food no other way. So if someone else tries to come and say, hey, we can feed plants this way, or we can do this way, that's not the truth. Because the truth comes from the source. The source is the Aman. Aman. Okay? The source can only distribute truth. Can't do nothing else. That's all the source can do. It can distribute truth. Okay? That by two immutable things in which it was impossible for God to lie, we might have a strong consolation who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us. So the Most High cannot lie. Whatever he says, it is. Right? It is. It is what it is. Right? Or as it says in the Tanakh, it shall be as it shall be. Okay? Brother, go ahead and give me Galatians 1:7. I'm going to read something else. Go ahead and give me Galatians 1:7. Everybody, let's turn to 1 Corinthians 14:33. Who was in that in class, in that chapter, I think, this morning. On a side note, the Torah class has been awesome. It's been really good. Been very. We've been la-soaking. That ain't a word. We've been la-soak. By the rage, we've been engaging and engrossing, and brothers and sisters been sharing and sharpening each other up. So if you do decide to come early, get some of that Torah class. Okay, wife has been doing a beautiful job, and everybody in there, what the Spirit has given them, been doing a wonderful job. I'm learning. I'm just sitting back taking notes. Can never be too hardy to learn, right? You don't know who got something for you. But if your spirit ain't right, your mind ain't right, you can't receive nothing. Just hard as a rock. You know. But distortion of the truth is perversion. Distortion of the truth. So we know now that this light that feeds the plants, these rays, comes from the sun. That's truth. But if something bends the light, interferes with the light, turns the light, then now we have perversion. 1 Corinthians 14:33, and it reads, "For God is not the author of confusion." And say it again. "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints." Okay? So, the Almighty is not an author of confusion. So if he ain't, somebody else is. If there's confusion, if there's division, if there's hating, or whatever phrase you want to use, then there's a reason for that. What's the source of this? Where'd this come from? Where'd this come from? Who this intruder? Right? But we gotta be on our watch so that we know. Brother, go ahead and give Galatians 1:7.
Which is not another. Only there are some who are troubling you and wishing to pervert the good news of Messiah.
Wishing to do what?
Pervert the good news of Messiah.
One more time, because I'm deaf.
Pervert the good news of Messiah.
To pervert. Perversion. So something that was true, but now, you know what, is not true. There was a way, but you know what? There's another way. John 8:44. Let's go ahead and turn there really quick. John 8:44. Yochanan 8:44. Yochanan 8:44, and it reads, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth." He did what? He abode not in the truth. So that means he's not coming from the source. He didn't abide in the truth. Because there is what? No truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So perversion, lies, all these different phrases, he the daddy. He the baby daddy of all that mess. He is the father of it. He is the father of it. Let's look at Acts 13. Acts 13:10. Acts 13:10. And brother, if you can give me Job 8:3 out of the Tanakh. Job 8:3 out of the Tanakh. Everybody else will turn to Acts 13:10. Acts 13:10, and it reads, "And said, full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil, thou enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Lord?" To pervert the right ways of the Lord, and said, "I know who your daddy is." He said, "Of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil." Well, that makes sense. We just read it. Who the father of lies was. So he was a murderer in the beginning. He decided not to be in the truth because he's a liar. And then he had little rugrats, little baby kids all over the place, causing all kind of mischief, all kind of problems. So Shaul called him out, said, "You're the child of the devil. You perverted one. Perverted one." Go ahead, brother. Go ahead and give us Job 8:3 out the Tanakh.
Would God pervert justice? Would the Almighty pervert righteousness?
Amen.
That's what he don't do. You understand that? That's just not of him. So when those things happen, we know that that's not the source. That's not the Aman, right? That's not the Aman. That's not the source of the matter. The Aman, the source. This is where the truth derives from this source. So we know that's not the Amon. We know it's someone else. Someone that's perverted and nasty, filthy. One more time. Read it one more time, brother.
Would God pervert justice? Would the Almighty pervert righteousness?
We just read it. That was just in class, wasn't it? Yeah. Wasn't that in Torah class this morning? Abraham was having that discussion with the Almighty and said, man, what if it was 50? What about 45? Please forgive me. What about 40? Your mercy. What about 35? 30? 25? 20? 15? 10? He said if it was 10, I ain't gonna do that to him. Because he don't pervert. So all the righteous men, is written in the book. Everybody know that. So then that means for us today, how should we live? Righteous, fair, just, be in the truth. Amen. But it's more than just being in it, right? It's what people talk about it, but you got to be about it. Folks like talk about it, but they don't want to be about it.
Come on now.
We gotta be like football player Marshawn Lynch say, how about that action, boss? I don't want to do no interview. I don't care about cameras in my face. I'm about that action, boss. Why don't you want to talk? I'm about that action. I'm about that action. That's how the people of the Most High God gotta be. Gotta be about that action. False lighting. Okay, false lighting. A light is not the light. Right? A light is not the light. Okay, a light is not the light. Let's turn to Matthew or Mattiyahu. A light is not the light. Right? So we talked about this last Shabbat, about the brightness of his coming, and that we should be shining our own light. Right? But there are plenty of other people who might be in the name and shining a light. Does that mean it's the light? Is it a replica light? We'll look at Matthew 4 in verse 8. And it reads, again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. So I give you all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. You know what that sound now? You know what that sound like, right? It sound like being a celebrity. It sound like being, you look, you'll be the main feature in Hollywood. I'll make you a Hollywood star. You can shine bright. For all the athletes and jocks, you'll be an all-star. You know what? You'll be the face of the league. You're a superstar. Stars shine light. Hollywood star, superstar, American Idol. And you know what y'all doing? He's shining light on all of them. Because every time I turn around, a pedophile, some great director, some actor or actress in her 20s and 30s say, man, I'm tired of this mess. They raping people here. They forcing people to do this. You gotta go sit on the director's couch. You gotta go do a oath in blood. Yeah, I said I'm shining that light. A couple years ago, you'd be called crazy. But now Fox can say it. CNN can say it. Human trafficking. Kidnapping kids. Messing these people up. Y'all shining the light on them. I love it. Call them out. Bust them out. Because you know what they wanted to be? A superstar. An all-star. Celebrity. American Idol. You know in Japan, they got Japan Idol. The way we have America, they got the same thing in Japan, China. So this tactic of the adversary to make you great in the eyes of your peers. He offered that to Yeshua. Yeshua said, man, please. He said, bye, Felicia. Bye. Move on. Let's turn to 2 Corinthians 11. And say all that. We're going to look in the scripture where this is actually serious. Once again, the forces that we fight against, their greatest weapon is deception. It's not power. It's not power, it's just deception. 2 Corinthians 11th chapter, verse 10. And it reads, as the truth of Christ is in me, no man shall stop me from this boasting in the region of Achaia. Wherefore, because I love you not, God knoweth. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers. What are they doing there, brother? They're transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. So false apostles, teachers, laborers. I'm laboring in the vineyard too. I'm grinding with you. Book says they transform themselves into apostles of Christ. Like a shapeshifter. You just got this messy Halloween mess. You got a mask on. You got a suit on. You ain't who you say you are. Imposter, impersonator. So there are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel. Why? For Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So the ugly one knows that in order for me to get to the people of God, I got to appear as light. That's why we say a light is not the light. So if you're not speaking truth, if you're not living truth, did you come from the source? Because I know the truth from where it comes from. Messiah says over and over and over, my Father sent me. The words I speak, he gave me.